Hello everyone. This is my assignment over the role of dreams in grieving. And I'm just gonna start right. I'm just gonna go right into it. So dreams play an important role in the process of loss. So number one, identify and describe how your dreams could reflect the task of, or how dreams could reflect the task of mourning. I said that it's not uncommon to have dreams about the deceased, including both commonplace dreams and unsettling dreams or nightmares. These dreams often fulfill several functions and can provide diagnostic information regarding the individual stage of grief. While we can divert our attention with a variety of waves of activities throughout the day, we are more at ease and receptive to new experiences while we sleep. We can allow our unconscious mind to roam and analyze the feelings we may try to suppress during the day. Dreams are often one of the ways that nature helps us face and resolve our problems. Remain hopeful that as you progress through your grief, your dreams will probably become more realistic and that you will eventually dream about your mother, this personally to me, my mother, in a better and happier place, as it happens for me occasionally. Even though most dreams involving a deceased loved one are eventually happy or consoling, there are instances in which the deceased loved one may be dissatisfied, angry, or disappointed in one another. Lowenberg says that dreams are probably reflections of your emotions. In my opinion, dreams help you feel emotions you might be suppressing. Dreams are meant to sharpen your problem-solving skills. Dreams reflect your innermost desires and struggles. Dreams are your brain's way of sorting through information. And touching on what Lowenberg says, because it did say that you do have dreams positive, but you also have them negative. I feel that also relates. Like, I also relate to that because, like, sometimes in my dreams, my mom is sick. How I seen her last in the hospital, and just like very like tubes tied, and there are times where she's like normal, and just like I remember her before her sickness. So I do resonate with what he said about it being positive and a negative. Number two, what new perspective did you gain from the discussion of how dreams relate to you mourning? And I said, I agree with the information that I was reading from the textbook and outside sources from personal experience. I agree and have experienced these feelings. When my mom comes to visit me in my dreams, she never really says much. She's just kind of there like a background character, or I see her sick, as I mentioned before, and someone making a notion to check on a certain family member. And so the next day I do, they tell me that they've been sad or missing my mom lately, but my call always cheers them up. So it lets me know my mom is leaving those little messages for me, just like in our textbook mentioned, that it can give us a sense of comfort. That's what it gives me. Initially, whenever I do dream of my mom, and she's kind of focusing more on one of my family members, if we're all in the room together or something, and or it's just like, I guess, like an argument that my family with my dad and my sister that we're having. And then I kind of reach out to my dad the next day and I say, hey, like, how are you doing with mom? Like, have you been thinking about her? And he kind of breaks down and starts crying because he's just like, yeah, like, I have, like, it's been really hard, like, she hasn't left my mind. And so yeah, I get that I'm like my mom a lot in the ways of being there for people and being like the light. That's what my middle name actually stands for, Luz in Spanish. It means light. And my mom was very blunt with how, you know, I resemble that of her. Everyone always mentions that I give off her energy. And so I do feel that the dreams help me. I do get that it could be some type of, not necessarily a gaslighting, because, you know, I do believe in the spiritual world, and I do believe that spirits exist and things like that. So I wouldn't say that I'm necessarily trying to say like, oh, it's just because I miss her, that's why I'm thinking about her. I think believing that it is signs gives me that comfort that the author's talking about, that Warden is talking about. So I really did enjoy reading that part because it did give me some type of reassurance in a way. Number 3, read the case study in Warden titled Grief Sketch 3. Explain how you would use dreams in doing grief counseling with this client. So I feel like it was kind of delayed grief. So in other names for delayed grief reaction include inhibited, suppressed, and postponed grief reactions. Although the person may have experienced an emotional response at the time of the loss, in this instance, it's insufficient to fully explain the loss. The individual may later on go through the stages of mourning associated with a subsequent or recent loss, and the depth of their sorrow will appear excessive. I would explain to the patient maybe her unconscious mind is wishing that there could possibly be room for forgiveness, or maybe she believes that him reaching out and sending her signals. I would suggest the idea of maybe that he is the one asking for forgiveness, and clearly things didn't end well. So I feel like the dream could signify confusion slash avoiding remembrance of the deceased and unfinished business, perhaps. I would recommend that she journal or maybe do an exercise with her, such as writing a note with whatever she wishes that she would have told her stepdad, and that we burn it. I feel like this could provide the patient with some type of closure and peace. I understand that the patient said that she was assaulted by him, and so that's why she was happy. But I feel like eventually, you know, she is a good person because she did feel remorse at the end. I mean, it took 3 months, but it was still remorse that was being shown. And so I feel that she should focus on forgiveness in this aspect. I believe maybe personally I would take it as a way that he's trying to kind of ask for forgiveness or meeting him halfway. And so I would suggest to her to do exercises or skills regarding you know, letting go past trauma, and also just acknowledging the fact that even though he did hurt her in certain ways, that there is still some feeling behind there, and it clearly needs to be resolved, because 3 months later and she is actually going through the stages of grief, and I feel like she needs that closure, and that type of closure would be beneficial to her. I feel that she would benefit from that. Like I said, journaling would be a really good thing because that's something that's personal. I feel it's like sexual assault is something that is very personal. Even children that I counsel kind of are avoidant of that subject. They don't want to talk about it. So I understand that. And I feel like journaling would be the best way. So that is how I would handle that grief counseling with the client. and interpret her dreams, or kind of allow her to have a better understanding of her dreams, because that initially to me is what I'm getting from it. Of course, I would ask for her opinion on it, but I would suggest that maybe that's why he's reaching out to her, and he is just coming up repeatedly, like he is just in the back of her mind and suppressed in some type of way. So that concludes my project. Thank you.